was able to escape the 18-wheeler and fled on foot, only to be captured again and then was put in a car. She claims she was then blindfolded but was not tied up because the captor said they did not want to leave impressions on her wrists. She said that they took her into a house and made her get undressed. She believes they took pictures of her, but she does not remember them having any physical or sexual contact. She stated the next day she woke up and was fed cheese crackers by the female. She said the woman also played with her hair, but could not remember anything else. At some point, she was put back in a vehicle she claims was able to escape while it was in the West Hoover area. She told detectives she ran through lots of woods until she came out near her residence. During this interview, detectives noted that Carlee had a small injury to her lip, and she claimed that her head was hurting. She also had a tear in her shirt. Detectives also noted that she had $107 cash in her right sock. Out of respect for Carlee and her family, detectives did not press for additional information in this interview and made plans to speak with her in detail after giving her time to rest. Detectives continue analyzing data from Carlee's cell phone that was left behind at the scene. We enlisted the help of the United States Secret Service in conducting this analysis. Part of what data included several internet searches in the days leading up to her disappearance that I think are very relevant to this case. On July 11th at 7:30 a.m., the term, "Do you have to pay for an Amber Alert?" was searched. On July 13th at 1:03 a.m., the day of her disappearance, the term, "How to take money from a register without being caught," was searched. On July 13th at 2:13 a.m., the day of her disappearance, the term Birmingham bus station was searched. On July 13th, 2:35 a.m., a search for a one-way bus ticket from Birmingham to Nashville was conducted with a departure date of July 13th. On July 13th at 12.
Hi, beauties. I just wanted to come on here and play this for you guys. I'm late. I'm sorry. And I wanted to play this just for documentation on my true crime thing, whatever. The true crime thing. But anyway, I'm going to continue playing this. I just wanted to play this real quick. Listen to it because at the end of the day, obviously, something's not right. And I'll talk to you guys when it's done.
12:10 p.m., a search for the movie Taken, a film about abduction, was conducted. There were two searches related to Amber Alerts on a computer at Carlee's place of employment, including one regarding the maximum age of an Amber Alert. There were other searches on Carlee's phone that appeared to shed some light on her mindset, but out of respect for her privacy, we will not be releasing the content of those searches at this time. We've asked to interview Carlee a second time, but have not been granted that request. As you can see, there are many questions left to be answered, but only Carlee can provide those answers. What we can say is that we've been unable to verify most of Carlee's initial statement made to investigators, and we have no reason to believe that there is a threat to the public safety related to this particular case. Thank you very much.
With that, we'll open the floor for some questions. Please raise your hand and I will call on you. Carol.
Chief, do you expect any charges against Carlee Russell in connection with the disappearance and in connection with what was taken from the Woodhouse spa?
Right now, our focus is to determine those 49 hours, so the investigation continues. So to be perfectly honest with you, that hasn't even entered our mind or been discussed.
One more question. Is it surprising to you that the family has not been cooperative in returning to be questioned?
Well, I think the family has stated to us that they didn't think that in her mental state right now, because of trauma of the incident, that she's not ready to talk, is what we've been told.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, question for Chief. You stated that the abductor had orange hair. Was this abductor black male? Was it female? Black female? White female?
I believe it's a white male. Am I correct by saying that? Was it ever? Yeah, white male.
Is this alleged abductor yet on loose in the Hoover area?
Don't believe so.
Yes, ma'am.
Chief,
Trinity on WBRC, has a toxicology report been done and were any drugs or illegal substances found in her system?
We have no report of that,
Is any indication of mental illness in this case?
not that I'm aware of.
Lisa?
There's been a concern in the community that if this turned out not to be a true story, that the next time a young woman of color was missing, that it might not be taken seriously. How would you respond to that?
I'd respond to say that we investigate every crime to the fullest, just like we have this one.
Was she traveling with anyone, excuse me, was she traveling with anyone since the time she disappeared, to your knowledge?
And not to my knowledge.
Chief, I know you said you weren't able to verify a lot of aspects of the story. Where do you think she went? And how would you characterize what happened here?
You know, that's the $100 question. You know, we pretty much know exactly what took place from the time she left work until she got on the 911 call, and we can see getting out of the car on the interstate from that footage. And after that, I think she only knows. We don't know.
One quick follow-up. Her parents. Did you speak with Carlee's parents? And why do you think it is they were so adamant that there wasn't a doctor?
Yeah, I think parents are believing what their daughter's saying, and we've had a very good rapport with the parents, met with them on several occasions. I've talked to them today a few times, and to make them understand that we're under pressure from our community, not only in our community of the state, but nationally when the story hit. And I just wanted them to understand that today we were going to have a press conference, and what we were going to detail today are facts. And everything that I've told you today is actual facts. It's not innuendos. It's not what I think. It's not what these detectives think. It is the factual information that we have.
Chief, I'll turn off to WBRC. How much time do you think you'll give the family before going back to Carlee for sentencing?
Well, I think our detectives have talked to the parents, and we're ready. We're ready to talk as soon as she's ready. So, you know, she called right now. We're ready.
One word to describe what went on. What would that be?
Ooh, how about unknown? You know, we know the facts that we have. Everything else is unknown at this time.
In the back?
What have the past few days been like for you, your department? This has been a stressful search, hasn't it?
Well, absolutely. And again, the focus of the investigation that Thursday when she went missing, of course, the focus was to get Carlee home. That's what we want all. We wanted her safe and sound. And that's all happened. And then, of course, this has gotten to be not only a local state story, but a national story. So, you know, it is. It's a lot of stress on everyone in the Hoover Police Department, and the mayor, to every citizen here. We want to know the truth.
And as you stand here, are you frustrated?
I wouldn't say I'm frustrated. I mean, I'm very happy that Carlee's home. That was the main ingredient here. And then we'll figure it out. I promise you that. We'll end up figuring it out.
Any idea about the number of manpower hours or the expense of the drones and all the rest of the search that might cost the city and the state and the federal government?
Yeah, we haven't had time to consider that, but it's you know, again, these detectives that are here, this is just a small group of people that have been associated with this case. We have put every available resource that we have on this case because we wanted to make sure that we found out everything. We wanted to get her home, and we have.
Chief, is there any prior indication of mental health problems?
Not that I'm aware of.
Can you just expand on the people from the state, federal resources brought in? What were they doing exactly as you all were searching for? Can you just expand on that?
Sure. A lot of the from the FBI side, several agents helping us interview. I mean, as you well know, in a case like this, especially when it goes national, we got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of calls. And when you get those calls, some of them may just be outlandish, but you got to follow up on them because you never know that you may get that one tidbit. And I'd also say too that we had a great cooperation with the family. The family received hundreds and hundreds of tips, and every time they got a tip, they sent it to us.
Would you say a crime has been committed?
No, we have not determined that. No.
Keith Mims, WAGG 610 Summit Media. Question for Chief. With all of the searches that you mentioned, Chief, that were on Carlee's phone, does that kind of give you an indication of her mind state during this ordeal, 48 hours?
Yeah.
That she went missing?
Well, you know, again, we want to talk in facts, and I do think it's highly unusual to the day that someone gets kidnapped, that 7 hours, 8 hours before that they're searching the internet, Googling the movie Taken about an abduction. I find that very, very strange. Yes.
Do you feel confident, your investigators feel confident why Carlee Russell may have done it?
No, we do not know. Absolutely not.
Chief, can you explain for us, you mentioned that while at the you said Carlee was on the front line of one, she was traveling 6 football fields, which tells you what?
Which tells me that I've had kids, and I'm sure a lot of people here have, and it's very, very, again, she said it, and I'm not saying it couldn't happen because I've always been one of these guys, never say never, but 6 football fields. I like athletics, I like football. 6 football fields. To think that a toddler, barefoot, that could be 3 or 4 years old, is going to travel 6 football fields without getting in the roadway, without crying, without any just moving down. It's just very hard for me to understand.
Chief, have you used any technology to enhance that video from 459, and did you see a man grab her?
We did not see, from what we can tell, we don't see anybody on the interstate other than her car and then someone getting out of her driver's side. We have sent that off to the FBI for enhancement. It has not been returned.
Do you think in this case that charges will be forthcoming towards Carlee Russell? And how serious of a crime is it to not only fabricate a 911 call, but to lie to law enforcement during an investigation?
Well, again, that's not something that we've been discussed since we're going through the still investigation. But people have to understand that when someone says something like this, we put every available resource. Everybody comes together from, like I say, state, local, federal. It's just a lot of work, and the gentleman earlier said frustrated. I mean, it is a little frustrating to think that all this has been done and we can't find anything out.
Did anyone see her calling in from the side of the road when she made that 911 call?
No, not to my knowledge.
All right,
So
last
is
question here.
Is this investigation held up until you can speak once again, Carlee Russell?
Well, there's a few things that we're still doing, but obviously we want to talk to Carlee as soon as we can and do an in-depth interview. And at that time, I think we'll have these investigators doing some other things. So
All right, that's all the questions we're going to answer today. We appreciate you guys coming, and we'll be following up with y'all later. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time, Chief.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Breaking news on WFLA Now. Here's JV Buno.
Carlee Russell claims she was abducted by a man who emerged out of the woods along I-459 Thursday night, but missing items, a troubling Google search history, and a lack of a second interview with law enforcement leave investigators and the public with doubts as to whether or not her story is true. Hello there, folks. JB here with you live on WFLA Now across all platforms as we try to process so much of what we have learned, but also so little as to what exactly happened Thursday night when Carlee Russell vanished alongside I-459, calling 911, claiming to see a white boy clothed walking along the interstate before a man emerged out of the woods, abducted her, took her back to an 18-wheeler, followed by a second recapturing, all leading up to her turning up on foot Saturday night at her home in Hoover, Alabama. Tremendous amounts of questions in our comment section. We're going to do our very best to go through them. And we're going to try, of course, to stay as fact-based as possible here, even though so many people have been commenting at me over the course of this live stream, sharing with me that they do not believe that Carlee Russell has been telling the truth as far as what exactly happened to her. This is still an open investigation. Hoover police are continuing to investigate, but right now they were very honest in their press conference in saying that they want to have another interview with Carlee. They want an opportunity to ask her more questions, and they have not been able to ask her more questions since they had communications with her on Saturday night when she turned up at her parents' house. We're going to go through a lot of what we just learned. I'm going to go through kind of the highlights here. But look, kudos to the Hoover Police Department.
We're going to listen to the rest of what this guy is saying, only because you guys missed the initial part of the press conference, like the first 5 minutes. But here's what I will say to y'all. The Hoover Police Department has to be very careful with their moves. And I'm going to tell you why. Because they have a history of racism. And if you don't believe me, look it up. They have a long history. Stop it. That's my son. Now you guys see why I don't go live during the day. They have a very, very long history with racism. So they have to make sure that they're crossing their T's, dotting their I's, because that they can be accused of that if they don't, if they were to automatically accuse Carlee of lying, okay, for one. And for two, I vouched for this young lady. I have prayed for her, but I don't know what else to say now, because why is it, yeah, he's playing with his John Cena's. Why is it that she won't be interviewed by the police? I think my speculation was very right. I think when she came home, she told her parents the real story and they got her an attorney. And the interview that her parents did, which was absolutely ridiculous, and I will be doing a body analysis, even if you guys seen it. Mine is going to be a little bit different because I took psychology in college. I just want to show you guys how that was a paid interview, for one. But why would you go public and be interviewed by the Today Show? Like, why would you do that when your daughter hasn't even been interviewed yet? She's only been interviewed once. So the Hoover Police Department, they did what they're supposed to do, and now they're just waiting to hear her story. I think it's safe to say that I don't even want to say it. I don't even want to say it because I'm in shock right now. I'm really in shock. If something happened to this young lady, why wouldn't she want to be interviewed? Like, this is crazy. This is crazy. Okay, let's finish this and then not the whole thing, but listen to what he has to say real quick. I have never witnessed that here. I love you too, girl. This has always been my safe place. Absolutely. And you're always welcomed here, Melanie. That's one of the reasons why YouTube gets on my nerves because there's too many fake fucking people on this app. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I don't have time for it. Hi, Anne. You're shocked with me? What's the matter? Why? Because I have questions? Or is it because I'm live early? All right, hold on. Let me play this.
They shared a lot of their ongoing investigation and a lot that I'm on to multiple pages of notes. So I'm going to kind of give everybody the highlights, and then we're going to go to your comments, what people are saying out there. Here on WFLA Now, we're very, very cognizant of our comment section. We do not shy away from your social media comments. We want to be with you there in the social media comment section and speak to what you're saying out there. So interactively, we're going to do that with hashtag HJB momentarily. Carlee Russell is said to have left her, again, all this according to the press conference, said to have left work with a bathrobe and a toilet roll ordered from the Taziki's restaurant. She also picked up granola bars and Cheez-Its from a Target before she made the 911 call on the side of the road. Now, we heard the 911 call.
I also want you guys to understand that the snacks that she purchased at Target was not in her car.
And that was also unexpected as far as this press conference. The Hoover Police Department being very open and transparent and sharing that 911 call with the public and with the media. You hear her say on the 911 call that the boy was 3 or 4 years old. She said that she was very, seemed to be, in my opinion, listening to her, she seemed very calm as she made this phone call to 911. She was saying that she was staying in the car, that she was driving a red Mercedes-Benz. She indicated that her name was Carlee Russell. The 911 operator asked her to put her hazards on. That is often a tactic to help law enforcement identify a vehicle on the side of the road that they're looking for. After the hazards were put on, the boy was described as being clothed, but with no shoes. And then, of course, we get the story about her abduction, but really have to point out there from the police chief that they have the Life 360 data that says that she was following the child on the interstate for 600 yards. It's a long way. If you use end zones, it's more like it's about 5 to 6 football fields, depending on how you look at it. They found the food there from Tzatziki's, but they didn't find the snacks from Target. They didn't find the robe in the vehicle, and they didn't find the toilet roll that she took with her. All very, of course, curious mentions here in this press conference. Now, Carlee's story. This is her story. Man coming out of the woods or out of the trees, taking her to a trailer of an 18-wheeler where she heard a female voice, a baby crying. Then she was able to flee on foot, but was captured again. She was taken into a house at that point. She believes that pictures were taken with her, that the woman was then playing with her hair before she turned up on Saturday night. She was able to get away in some capacity in West Hoover. Now, police, over the course of their investigation, looked into the internet searches, the internet search history of Carlee Russell. And those internet searches clearly are troubling as far as what we're looking at here. Say, Googling, do you have to pay for an Amber Alert? About stealing from a register, about the age of an Amber Alert, about getting a ticket to Nashville, a bus ticket to Nashville on July the 13th, and then doing a lot of research on the movie Taken, according to law enforcement. And then law enforcement adding that they'd like to clarify a lot of what Carlee told them, but they have not been granted the second request for an interview. And they do not believe that a threat to public safety exists right now. Also, follow-up notes here from my notes, and then we'll get to your comments. No previous history of mental health, no determination that a crime has taken place. So a lot to break down here. We found out so much and also still know so little. But we have been asking you on YouTube Live, do you believe that Carlee Russell was abducted? And there's there is tremendous, that provides us, everybody, with an idea as to how many people believe Carlee Russell's story versus believing that she is not, in fact, telling the truth. And there is a whopping majority of people right now in our social media comment section, greater than 90%, who do not believe Carlee Russell's story. And that's based on just analytics that are unscientific and social media based, but it does help us.
So I didn't hear that part. So she looked up the movie Taken. She Googled the movie Taken. She Googled Amber Alerts. I have been defending this girl. I can't defend her no more. This is absolutely ridiculous. This is not fair to the people who have put their time and effort searching for her. I think it's safe to say she's not going to talk to the police, you guys. I don't think she is. Do you have to pay for an Amber Alert? I don't know. I'm not sure. That is actually, though, a good question.
Get some clarity as to exactly how you're feeling out there. So we're going to start to take your hashtag HeyJB questions and comments here on social media, trying to parse through as many meaningful and thought-provoking, if you will, comments, but then really the questions are what we're looking for. So I'm going to ask this question for our audience. What are your biggest questions going forward? Or if you want to share your thoughts as to the Carlee Russell story, you can do so. Just please keep it clean. Use hashtag HeyJB. Please keep it clean. Share your opinion in a respectful way. The family, of course, is still caring for Carlee Russell, who is safe with family. Again, she has the family has denied law enforcement the opportunity for more of an interview, another round of interviews. Reason being is because she's, according to her family, suffered through a traumatic experience. And so, we're going to try to keep things as kind and as respectful in our comment section.
And I agree. Toxicity of social media. I literally did a live about this the day before yesterday, and the first thing I said was, this young lady hasn't even told her story yet. And I still stick by that. I still think that it's important to be respectful, because if she would go to these lengths, something ain't right. Okay. Up here. That's just my opinion. If you're going to go through these lengths to get that type of attention, something is definitely wrong. But here's the thing. The fact that she won't talk to the police, in my opinion, I think, because her family, they're very well off. Her family is very well off. So I think that she was probably advised they probably got an attorney for her. I think when she got home, she told them the real story. I know her parents are saying that they still believe her, but they have to say that. They have to say that, because she could be prosecuted for this. And to be honest with you, if she did do this, she should be prosecuted for this. And if she has any mental health issues, then she needs to get help. So I am going to try my best to be respectful, but I was definitely one of those people that was like, how can you guys sit here and make these BS assumptions about this young lady? And she hasn't even spoken yet. But now she refuses to speak. At the end of the day, if something happens to this young lady, Carlee, she would want to speak. She would want her kidnapper to be caught. This is not a normal human behavior. If you've been kidnapped, I'm sorry. You are going to go and look up any person who's been kidnapped. There are people who have been kidnapped that couldn't even talk, and they wrote on a notepad what their kidnapper looked like. You're going to want that person to be caught. So I've had questions about this from the very beginning, and I thought once Carlee speaks, maybe she will fill in the holes that I have so many questions about, which was, how is she the only person that's seen a toddler walking on the highway? That's not normal. That's somebody else would have seen that. And to me, what makes me the most pissed off is that there are so many missing people out there, especially Black women, Indigenous women. And what happened with Carlee is very rare. I'm not going to lie. It's very, very rare that the outpour of love and attention that this young Black beautiful woman got, it's abnormal. So this is like very, very disheartening. And I cannot believe that someone would go to these lengths. And it does. It makes me question if the story about her boyfriend cheating on her with a stripper is true. I think that story might be true. I'm not saying that it is. I still would want to wait until she finally speaks, but I don't think that she's going to, y'all. I don't think she's going to speak. I think that they're trying to wait it out and see what the police are going to do. And once they see what the police are going to do, that's when she'll start talking, when she has to, when it comes to herself and being prosecuted over this. Imagine all these resources were used for someone actually missing. They could have been. Exactly. Yeah, that's not normal behavior to stage a kidnapping over your boyfriend. I was arguing everyone before this press conference. Seems like everyone was convinced she was a faker, but me and you. Exactly. Yeah, I was definitely one of those people that was like, no, we have to wait until she speaks. This is not fair to her. I don't think that she should be questioned like this. If it was the other way around and it was a white woman, nobody would be questioning all of these things. Because at the end of the day, it's true. At least wait until the young lady makes a statement. However, she refuses to make a statement. And I truly believe that she got an attorney that her family got her an attorney, and her attorney is advising her to keep her mouth shut and not talk to the police until they see what the police is going to do. And it's ridiculous. It's embarrassing, to be honest with you. There was a beautiful outpouring of love and support for her, and for her not to talk to authorities or anyone. It makes me upset too, because even though, and that's why the police are actually talking, because they were getting a lot of pressure. They had to do something. They had to say something. If they're getting so much pressure, and they're getting pressure like, is there someone out there that we should be threatened of? Obviously he got away because y'all ain't saying nothing, like causing all this chaos. And to me, it's a very selfish move. This is a very, very selfish, ignorant, like this is enough. If she Googled Taken and Amber Alerts, it's time to do whatever. It's time to do something. She's not going to talk. I promise you guys, she is not going to talk. Hi, Pussycat. How are you? It's good to see you.
Even though I know that there is a lot of frustration in our comment section, so much goodwill that was poured out in Central Alabama to find Carlee Russell, when so many people in our social media comment section do not believe that the abduction story is true. So let's go to the comment section. We're here in the Stream Center, and on this screen right here to my left, if you use hashtag AJB, that means that you want your comment section or your comment to be animated on screen like this.
And another thing too, nobody is going to, and I can say this right now, because there might be some people, especially on TikTok, that says, I told you. Now, how do you feel? Do you feel stupid for defending her? No. Why would I feel stupid for being a good person? It's the same thing as toxicity of social media. Anybody who defended this girl all the way up till now, sorry, but at the end of the day, that's what makes you a good person. When you try your hardest to give people the benefit of the doubt, instead of automatically thinking the worst. It is, to me, I don't want to say common sense, but it definitely shows your character when you defend somebody who went through this horrible ordeal, when you defend them instead of automatically jumping down their throat when it doesn't make sense to you. Okay? So no one should ever be sorry for defending this young lady. That's what makes you a good person. You may have had questions, and I've said this from the very beginning, even when I was defending her. I have questions. Something's not right, but I want to wait until she makes her statement first. That's what makes you a good person. So for all those people that want to sit back and say, well, I told you so, I told you so, do you feel stupid for defending her? No. You should still feel stupid for jumping down her throat before even knowing all of the facts.
Bringing in comments from Twitter, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, TikTok Live. Eddie wants to know who is in Tennessee that she knows. Has that been revealed? I did not hear that question asked, Eddie. The bus ticket to Nashville is interesting. Whether or not she made it to Nashville in that time is unknown. But the fact that she was Googling a way to get to Nashville, and for those who've never been to Nashville, I've been to Nashville. It's a great town, place to have a lot of fun on Broadway. It's just a great community there in Nashville, Tennessee. But also a place that if you want to just kind of, get lost in the crowd, so to speak, Broadway in Nashville, it's not, it's not Times Square, but it's very populated with tourists. So if you were looking for an opportunity to go somewhere, have some fun, and just kind of get lost in the masses, Nashville's not a bad place in relation to, Central Alabama.
Okay, whatever. He's not saying anything. I wanted to play this press conference for you guys, but here's the thing. From just my speculation, from the Google searches, her trying to get a ticket to Nashville, what I think personally is that she probably was trying to leave. She probably was trying to stage this whole kidnapping, and it blew up in her face and she had no choice but to come home. That's what it looks like to me. Yeah, she was Googling trying to find a ticket to Nashville. I think this is enough evidence. I that's what I'm saying though. I think it's the Hoover police, they have to be careful. So because I just feel like this is enough evidence to where they need to figure out what they're going to do, because she is not going to talk to them. I can tell you what right now. If she was going to talk, y'all, she would have been talked. No, I don't feel stupid at all. I just feel that I was respecting their time to give them a moment. But now that the cops are talking, now I feel I can give an opinion. Exactly. That's how I feel too. Don't be defending that. You want someone to be 100% safe. That's ignorant. Exactly. Now, look, like I said, I've had questions, but I kept those questions to myself until I went live. And even though I did have questions, I was waiting for Carlee to speak out to fill in those gaps. And because she's not going to speak out, and I don't think she ever is until she has no choice but to, now I can give my educated opinion, especially from watching her parents' interview on the Today Show. I think I can finally say that I don't believe her. And it's sad. It's very sad that someone would go to these lengths. And like I said, for someone to go through all of this, something ain't right. Who in their right mind would ever even begin to think to do something like this? And for her to think that maybe she didn't think that it would blow up as big as it has. But at the same time, that's why I think she came home. Because when it blew up this big, I think she was like, oh shit, I don't know what to do now. I think I better go home. You know what I mean? And I really, truly hope that her parents are telling the truth and that they actually do believe her and that they don't know the truth. But I think they do. I think they know the truth as well. Yeah, she was trying to get a ticket to Nashville. She probably thought it would never get this big. If it's not true, I'm scared for her because people are crazy. I agree. I was the same. Okay, I read that. Yeah, it's not looking good for her now. She should have consequences. I agree. I agree with all of you. You guys are absolutely right. I still want her to speak. I still don't want to go too far left until I actually hear her speak. But at the end of the day, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. And I think that it's very, very sad that she is leaving people hanging like this. And I'm not saying she owes people anything, but she owes it to herself, especially if she endured any type of violence, anything. She owes it to herself. She owes it to her parents. She owes it to her family who was worried about her. Maybe you don't owe it to complete strangers, but you at least owe it to your family. Like when she was missing, her mother, her father, the looks on their face, the fear in their eyes. There was a woman helping them that lost her fucking daughter. Okay, for real. I gotta find her name. Angela Harris. Angela Harris, who lost her daughter. Her daughter was kidnapped and unalived, was helping the Russell family. Can you imagine how she feels right now? She actually spoke out as well. Let me see if I can find it. It was her daughter. She was a college student and she disappeared from Alabama in 2019. Can't remember her name. Anaya Blanchard. Do you guys remember her? Her name was Anaya Blanchard. Beautiful. And she lost her beautiful baby girl. And she helped the Russell family. She was there for them. She did everything that she could for them. This is a slap in the face to her. Like, if anything, she's the person that I'm so sad for her. I'm so sad for her. Yeah, Anaya Blanchard. Look her up. She was gorgeous. She was a gorgeous young lady. She was very young. I think she was only 19. And she was kidnapped and unalived. And Angela Harris, her mother, was helping the Russell family find Carlee. And I can't imagine how she feels right now. I can't imagine how she feels. Was the maintenance man who did this to her? Hold on, let me see.
She reportedly spent October 19th hanging out with family before dropping her brother off at his place on her way home. At 11:09 p.m., Sarah texted Anaya to ask if she was almost back, to which Anaya responded, yeah. But then at 11:40, Anaya texted to say that she was actually hanging out with a guy named Eric who she had just met. By 11:47, her phone was turned off altogether. The texts were out of character, but it wasn't until the next morning that Sarah knew something was wrong. Anaya's family reported her missing that day, and by the 26th, authorities had found her vehicle abandoned at an apartment complex about 55 miles west. Now police were convinced foul play was involved, as there was a bullet hole in Anaya's passenger side door and a lot of blood. These details would bring the case into the national spotlight and ultimately get a witness to come forward and say he'd seen Anaya's kidnapping at a local gas station. After going through security footage, police learned that he was telling the truth. It turns out Anaya had stopped at the Chevron gas station in Auburn that night to pick up some snacks before bed. At 11:20 p.m., security footage confirms that she walks in around the same time as 29-year-old Ibrahim Yazid. He watches her, then follows her outside, forces her into her own car, and abducts her right there in the parking lot. Ibrahim was identified on November 7th, but police wouldn't be able to charge him with murder until a few weeks later when they received a tip that would lead them to Anaya's body. She was found buried in a local cemetery with an autopsy reporting she died of a single gunshot wound. We'll probably never know more detail, but Ibrahim has said that he fired at Anaya after she tried to take his gun. It's clear she fought for her life, and unfortunately, he is still awaiting his trial today. This is the kidnapping of 19-year-old.
The man's still awaiting his trial today. And what about the person who watched the kidnapping? What the fuck is wrong with people? I don't understand. Like, when you witness something, can't you do something? Call the cops? Like, you witnessed the kidnapping and did absolutely nothing. It's, Lord Jesus. That's why I'm so happy that I am the way I am. My boyfriend's the way that he is. We were at the fair. We were at the fair the other day. Last week, we all went. It was so fun. I will be uploading some pictures. And we were on a ride. I actually rode rides, you guys. Oh my God, it was crazy. I rode rides with my 12-year-old and I rode rides with, we both did. Me and my boyfriend both did. But anyway, we went on this ride and it's a ride that was really fast. It goes forward and backwards. And prior to us getting on this ride, they had found a phone. After they were letting everyone off, they had found a phone. And I watched the owner of the ride. He had the phone in his hand and he took it to the back. Okay. So as I was on the ride, I could see my boyfriend talking to a young lady that came up to get her phone. She had left because she probably didn't realize she didn't have her phone. And then when she realized she didn't have her phone, she came back and she's like, wow, I don't have my phone. She asked the owner of the ride, was their phone found here? And the owner told her no. So my fiance seen it. He seen the whole thing, and he opened his mouth and said, wait a minute. Yes, you did. You found a phone. I was right here. You literally found a phone before my girl got on the ride. So what are you talking about? And he still kept saying, no, we didn't find a phone. And my fiance, he was arguing with them. He's like, yes, you did. So finally, the owner went back and he's like, oh yeah, we found your phone. And they gave it to her. You know what they did to her phone? They turned it off. They turned off the young girl's phone. So I'm going to go ahead and say that they were going to steal her phone. And if it wasn't for my fiance speaking up because of what he's seen, she wouldn't have had a phone. Okay? So when you see things, I don't understand why when some people see things, they don't do anything. And even like after my man had said something, you know, you can tell that she was grateful. And then we ended up continuing walking, and it was packed at the fair. And they literally, this young girl and her boyfriend found us and said, hey, do you guys have a Cash App? Like, seriously, they were so grateful because people don't do that shit anymore. Most people would keep their mouth shut and be like, I don't know. I don't have anything to do with it. You have a guy at a gas station who witnessed a kidnapping and did absolutely nothing. You didn't have to put yourself in danger, but you damn sure could have called the police when you seen it happening. Like, this world, I don't know what this world is coming to. I don't know. But ultimately, you can either choose to be a good person or you could choose not to be a good person. It's your choice. And this woman, Angela Harris, her daughter's murderer, he's not even sentenced yet. He's still awaiting to be sentenced. Okay? And she, out of the kindness of her heart, helped the Russell family. Can you imagine how she feels right now from someone who truly lost her daughter? Now, granted, I'm sure she's still happy, and we're all happy that Carlee is safe. I'm happy about that. But in the same sense, to sit there and pretend as though this didn't happen and to ignore the police when you have people who helped and did whatever that they could for your safe return, your family, what they went through, at least try to talk to the police. It can't be that hard for you to talk to the police. And at the end of the day, I truly believe that she was at that hotel. And if the police get footage of her being at that hotel, it's a done deal for her. That's it. That's all they have to find out is where she was. And when they find out where she was, she will be prosecuted. And that's just the truth. Hi, Brooklyn. How are you, sweetie? It's good to see you. Let me read your comments. In my humble opinion, her talking isn't going to make a difference over her actions. I agree with that. That's actually a good point, Ari. Yes, the maintenance man was in love with her, kidnapped her. It was, yeah. Yeah, that's this random person saw her at a gas station and someone witnessed the whole thing and didn't say anything until after she was missing. Like, if you would have said something, maybe it would have saved her life. Angela suffers from autoimmune disease, but still went out there. She had to be hurt. I know. Isn't it sad? I ask myself that every day. What the fuck is wrong with people? I will never understand. Nobody even stopped to check on her, let alone a kid. Make it make sense, right? I'm a roller coaster freak. I'm not a roller coaster. They didn't have any roller coasters at the fair, but they had some pretty scary rides, though, that's for sure. And I went on a couple of them. I'm sure they make bank off stealing phones. Oh yeah, yeah, they were gonna keep that phone for sure. I guarantee you they probably have like 50 phones back there, and wasn't used to the fact that people actually came back. And she came back. Agreed. See something, say something. Better safe than sorry. I agree. I have a business, and you'd be surprised how many people leave their credit card at my business, and you'd be surprised how many even come back for them. But we have a safe place in hopes they come back. That's awesome. Toxicity. I'm glad you do that, because the fact that they were going to steal this young lady's phone, it's ridiculous. People have a voice, and when things like this happen, use it. People just, I don't understand, and I will never understand how people can just sit back and watch things and not say anything. She's probably too ashamed to show her face, honestly. I agree with that. These kind of things cause desensitization of the masses, like Jesse Sam. You know, I agree with that too. Cinnamon hot, hot, hot. I love your name. Hey, Commander. I hope that hotel has a camera and not a potato one. Some of the camera are bad. Yeah, they are. But like I said, once they find out where she was at, I'm going to go ahead and say it's a wrap. And she's not, the only person she'll be talking to is her attorney. That's awful. It was awful. I'm good. Thank you. Hot here in Florida. It's hot here. Oh my gosh. In Ohio, it is so hot today. I agree. At this point, she's going to be better off not saying anything, but it sucks because everyone wants to know. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, and I'm just going to leave it on this, but I'll be back live tonight, you guys. I am still going to be respectful. I'm still going to keep it respectful. I would like to know what you think, Commander, because you missed a lot. And just to fill you in, they found a lot of information that shows that Carlee, because Commander was right with me. Okay, Commander was like, nope, you guys need to wait until she says something. Well, she was refusing to talk to the police, Commander, for one. They found a Google search with her Googling Target, Googling a ticket to Nashville, Googling Amber Alerts, Googling the movie Taken. Okay, she refuses to talk to the police. She only talked to the police once. The police would like to give her another interview. She refuses to talk. I'm still going to keep it respectful because at the end of the day, that's just me. That's what we do over here. We keep it classy over here. But I don't feel bad for sticking up for her, and I won't. But I can't defend her anymore. And there is a lot of people that has been hurt during this process. And I'm telling you guys right now, she's not going to talk. Yeah, her snacks. She purchased some snacks from Target. Here, we thought she went to a fast food restaurant. She didn't. She went to Target to purchase some snacks. Those snacks were not in the car. No wrappers, no nothing. That's unfortunate, but waiting for LE to release results was the right thing to do. I stand by that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Tia, I'm sorry, but you know, I will be making light of her cheese. A lot of people are angry. I understand. But here's what I'll leave off on. She still doesn't owe anything to anybody, y'all. Okay? She doesn't. Is it the right thing to do? Yes. But she doesn't owe nobody shit. And the fact that she won't talk to the police, I think it obviously shows her character. Where she's at, as far as if you would go to these lengths and extremes, I'm going to go ahead and say this is not normal. A lot of young ladies get hurt by their boyfriends, if that's even the real story, whatever her reasoning is for doing this, allegedly, I'm going to go ahead and say that if she would go to these lengths and extremes, something ain't right. Okay. And hopefully she gets the help that she needs. But there are some things that I want to show you guys that very well shows that I think her parents know too. I think her parents know that she lied. And obviously that's her parents. They're going to have her back, right? Well, now she's definitely going to be Jessie Smollett. Yeah, a lot of people have been saying that. We were all holding our breath and hoping the naysayers weren't right. I was hoping so too. I think she was trying to run away from something in her life. Maybe, Lurker. You're right. And maybe there's some things going on in her life. But it's still not normal to do something like that. Okay. You can't sit there and automatically assume that it wouldn't have gotten as elaborate as it did. You know, like you can't unless she just doesn't have the ability to think logical. I don't know, you know. No, there's a difference. Sticking up for her, excuse me, would mean more right now, since we know some facts. I believe you guys just kept hope and faith, right? I don't need to hear from Carlee. She's got a long road ahead of her dealing with her issues, her family, and the upset local community. Exactly. You're right. You're absolutely right. I think she definitely has a long road ahead of her. And I'm sorry, you guys, y'all can disagree with me if you want to, but if she doesn't have mental health issues from this, okay, because of doing this, to sit there and make that whole elaborate lie using a toddler with a diaper walking on the highway, I'm sorry, but she should be prosecuted to the extent of law. I don't care. You have to pay the consequences for doing things like this. You have to. The toddler had everyone so scared. I can't imagine the resources spent. I know. You can't just do this type of shit and get away with it. When I watched this update, I had some random emotions running, like when I watched the Super Bowl, right? So I will be back on here later on tonight. I think when she checked on the age of Amber Alert, she didn't think she was going to have so much attention placed on her. Yes, she would have some form of punishment. Yeah, you're right. Her looking up the Amber Alert. Obviously, isn't Amber Alert for children or no? An Amber Alert can be for anybody, right? I'm not sure. But regardless, her looking up the movie Taken and Amber Alert and things like that, I just don't know where your mindset could be to do something like that. I just don't understand. So when she looked up, okay, so Amber Alert is for anybody then. I just don't think she thought it was get as blown up as it did. I don't think she thought it was going to get as big as it did. And when it got big, I think it scared the shit out of her. That's what I think happened. But either way, she's wrong. This was wrong on so many levels. As I said, it's not necessarily about the public. I think she owes it to herself, to her loved ones. You know, Angela Harris, who helped, who lost her daughter in 2019. I just think that if you don't have, despite of having mental illness issues, you really don't have a heart if you can do something like this. You have to stop and think about your consequences. And I understand she's young, but she's not that fucking young, y'all. She's 25. When I was 25, well, shit, I already had a kid at 15, 16. But the point is that when I was 25, I still knew how to think logically. Now, what I will say is I do know that from what I've heard, let's put it that way, her family is very wealthy and she's spoiled. Maybe, you know, when it happens sometimes with some spoiled kids, they don't, you know, I was spoiled growing up too. It took me a long time to grow up, but But when I reached 25, I had no choice. When I had a kid, I had no choice. You know, when I moved out of my parents' house, I had no choice. Yes, poor Angela. She probably had flashbacks to what she went through. I know. I think especially to Angela Harris. I cannot fathom what she went through helping this family only to find out that it was a hoax, allegedly. You're going to hear me saying allegedly because I have to keep it respectful, for one. For two, I have to save my ass no matter how small my platform is. And for three, she still hasn't said anything yet. When I was 25, I had a 7-year-old. Right. How old was my little guy when I was 25? I don't know. Like he was 5, I think, something like that. I didn't have a choice but to grow up. I'm not going to say that I grew up as soon as I had a child, though. You know, I lived with my mom for a very long time and she helped me. But I still thought logically when I was 25. Angela Harris, oh man, that was sad. They caused this mom to relive and rush to help. I bet Angela will have second thought is running to help another family next time. And see, that's the thing though, you know, like that's what makes me so sad is she really helped this family. And I hope that it doesn't like discourage her from helping other families. Yeah, she probably will take a step back, but then that's what pisses me off about the Carlee Russell situation. There are so many missing women out there. And she literally took advantage of so many people. I got married at 20, had a son at 21, still happily married. Congratulations, Lurker. That's amazing. That's amazing. To be married still, that's awesome. I love that. Love that for you, sweetheart. Hopefully, I am with my partner for 20 more years. I hope so. The whole thing is heartbreaking. I think now, since all of this information has came out, I'm going to give my opinion and I'm not going to hold back on my opinion anymore. I'm still praying for Angela Harris and I hope that she's okay. She did make a statement on TikTok and I'll play that for you guys later on. I will be back on here later on tonight, I think at 9 or 10 or something like that. And thank you guys for being here. I didn't think it'd be half of y'all in here, so I appreciate it. I told you guys I was going to try to keep you updated on this, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I hope that Carlee speaks. Especially maybe this press conference put a little pressure on her. But if she has an attorney, which I think that she does, she's not going to speak. So I think it automatically comes down to if they have any proof or find out where she was for those 49 hours, she's screwed. Okay, so she better hope they don't find out. I love you guys so much. Thank you. I'll be on camera later. I'm still getting dressed. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you to my amazing mods. You guys are awesome. I will see you guys later on, and I hope to see you guys all here. And as I told you guys before, I'm back. I still will be talking about true crime. That's what I want to talk about a lot, but we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of other stuff too, especially what's going on right now with transgender men and women. We'll be talking about all those things. I'm just shocked her parents went on TV. However, I'm sure they were trying to do some damage control, whether it be true or not. And I also think they got paid for it, Stella. I think they have a lot of fucking nerve. I'm sorry. I'm mad. Let me get off here before I say something. I think they have a lot of damn nerve to come on the Today Show and do that when their daughter won't even speak. Okay? That's what pisses me off. I love you, Tia. Thank you for covering this. Peeps, catch you on these YouTube streets. Yes. I love when you say YouTube streets. Yes, I love you guys all. I will be back on here later. But like I said, if there's ever any true crime case that you want me to cover, just let me know. I do think I'm going to talk about Angela Harris's case, though, too, because I've never covered that case, even though it's 2019. I think it's important for you guys to see that. But I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys later on. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Have a nice dinner, whatever. And I will be back on here later tonight. Love y'all. Deuces.